All right, good morning and welcome back to Python class. Today we'll be looking at file handling. So we are going to look at how to open a file, how to write to a file, and how to delete a file. All right, let's take a look at some little theoretical operations in file handling. So file handling is an important part of any web application, and Python have several functions for creating, reading, updating, and deleting a file. So when it comes to file handling, the key function for working with file in Python is open function. The open function, like this, the open function takes two arguments, which is the file name is let's say pj.txt, and also the mode, if it is write, text, append, read, text, append, write, and the likes. Then we have create. Yes, these are the other arguments that are needed, that are in this. We also have binary and we have the text. So these are the mode. So there are four different methods or modes for opening a file. One is the R, which is read. So default value open a file for reading. If the file does not exist, it's going to throw error. Then we have the A, which stands for append. The A means append, that is, it opens a file for appending, create, or to create the file if it does not exist. So it either append information into the file or it creates the file if it does not exist. Then we also have the W, which is to write. So the W helps to open a file for writing and also create a file if it does not exist. So that means it will write the text into the file. Then we also have the X, which is to create. X means create. Remember, R means read, A means append, W means write, while X means to create. So this creates the specified file, return an error if the file exists. So if such a file has existed before, it will return error. But if it doesn't exist, it will change the file. I'm sorry, it will create a new file for it. Then we also have additional mode, which are normally used to handle either binary or text mode. So the T means text and is a default value, which is always a text mode. That is, it will show in text. And we have the B, which serve as binary, and the binary mode is mostly used for images or or multimedias. So that will make it easier for the system to capture the images or the multimedia that you are having attached to your file. All right. Then when we look at the syntax we are to make use of include: to open a file for reading, it is enough to specify the name of the file. So first, let's try to open a file for reading. So we are going to say f is equals to open. Remember, we said open is the main function we use in file handling. Open, then let me open a demo file .txt. I have this file already in my folder. So And if I want to actually know if this file is open, I will just put print f dot read so I can know if it's open or not. So print f dot read. So in this case, I will be able to know if it is open or not. Exactly now. So because once I said f dot read, it will be able to read the content inside it. So let's run this and let's see if it actually opened the file. All right, it opened the file, and inside that file we have I am a Python text file. We are here to laugh and code. All right, so that is that about opening a file. So we've just opened the file, and this is just a default way. Another way we can use to open a file is by you adding the mode. What mode do we want it to be? We want to read it, at the same time we want it to be in text format. So we have this, and when we run it, let me see if I print f only, what is it going to give me, so that you will be able to know what will happen or when you encounter such a things. So when you print f only, this is what you will have. But when you put your read, it's going to give you the exact data that you need. Can you see that? So this is what we mean by opening a file to read. Then we will also look at how to read line by line. So open a file on a server. So assuming we have the following file located in the same folder as Python. So first we want to open the file. To open the file, use the built-in open function. Then the open function return a file object which has a read mode for reading the content of the file. So in that case, we are going to open a file. Open another one. Let me say g is equals to open. I will still use the demo file .txt, and we want to open it in read only. So we put the R. Then I will say print g dot read, just the way we've done earlier. So when we run it, it's going to give us this. Can you see that? All right. So also, if the file is located in a different location, you will have to specify the path like this. Maybe we have the file in, like this file now is inside the desktop. It's on the desktop and inside a folder, because we are actually working in the same folder where the text is. That's why it's easy to get the text out. So if the file is on uh another directory, you can just say f is equals to open. Then you have to specify the location. Let's say it's on the desktop, you say D. Are you getting it? If it's in the drive, you say C, then slash, sorry, not the slash, backslash. Then you locate the file. Find, let's say my file slash welcome.txt. Now in this form, although I don't have this file there, you understand? But if I have the file, it will actually locate the file. Okay, let me just try to locate a file that is on the desktop. So I think this one is very much. Okay, let's see if I can get a text file that will be easier to read. I don't have such a text file, so but let me just go ahead. So when you have it like this, you put the location, comma, and you put the mode read. Then you press your print and ask it F to read the file. So automatically it's going to read the file. If I run this now, this one will run and this one will throw error that it does not exist. And remember, if it is R, what does R do? R read by default and open a file for reading. Throws error if the file does not exist. So if I try to run this now, I'm going to run into error because the file does not exist. Are you seeing that? So but once the file is existing in the system, it will surely locate the file. Alright. So then if you want to carry out a read-only part of a file, by default the read function method return the old text, but you can only specify how many character you want to return. So if I want to make sure that okay, out of the old text in the file, I want it to return like 5 character or 10 characters, I can decide that by saying f is equals to open, specify the name of the file, demo file.txt, comma, the mode read, and I want it to print f dot read, and I just want like 6 character to be displayed. So when I run this, and you see that it shows 6 character, which is I space A M space A, and that makes it 6 character. Out of all the character, I can only display 6 character. So I have specified the read only part that I want it to display. You understand? If I want to display 15, I can say this and run again. Run again. Then I will have this. I am a Python T. So those are the read only parts I actually want it to display. So also you can read line by line. How do you read line by line? Let's give it G is equals to open, then specify the file. Let's say demo file.txt, put the mode, read. And we want to read line by line. So we are going to make use of read line function. So we say print G dot read line. With this, it's going to read only one line. We have 2 lines there to be read, but it's going to read only one. Why? Because we said read line. So when we run this, you'll see that it's going to read just one line. I am a Python text. Remember, before we have I am a Python text, we are here to laugh and code. So but because we say read line, it only shows only one of the line. Alright. So also by calling read line two times, you can read the two lines, the two first line, sorry. So when we put this print read line twice, it's going to read two lines. When we put it three times, it's going to read three lines. When you put it four times, it's going to read four lines. So that is how that continues. It's going to read line by line. I'm going to do two. I will try to comment out this one so that we can just get it straight. Right, if I run now, we have it like this. I'm a Python file. We are here to laugh and code because I have two lines. So also when we try, we can use loop instead of writing it line by line. We can loop through it with our for loop. So we can say that let me comment this out and also this. So we don't want to print out read line multiple times. So we can say for x in G, print x. With this, we are going to have all the lines being printed because for loop, we actually loop through everything and give us the outcome. And you see that. So this is actually what we can use for loop to do when it comes to text. Then how can we close a file? We can close a file using the close function. So when we have this and we say read line, so I will comment out this for loop and the print. So I will uncomment these ones. Alright. So now that we have this, we can also say g dot close to ensure that the file close after it has been read. So we put this and once we run it, it prints and it close automatically. So it has closed it by itself. Although the close function does not show outside, but in the code it has been closed after outputting the information. So and when you are coding, always make sure that you close your file. In some cases, due to buffering, changes made to a file may not show until you close the file. So that is why you need to always close your file. Then let's look at how to write to a Python to a file. How can you write to a file? Alright, let's comment out this. Okay, so I want to actually write to a file. So before we start writing to a file, let's look at the theoretical things we need to know. To write to an existing file, you must add a parameter to the open function. What are the parameters we need to add to the open function if you want to add more content to an existing file or a new file? First one is A. You use the A parameter, which is append. Append will append to the end of the file. That is, when you have a file already that has content in it and you make use of A, it's going to add the new content to the old content in the file. And the other one is W, which is write. And when you make use of write will overwrite any existing content. So if you have a file before and you make use of write to write into that file again, the con ten t you have there before will be wiped out and the new con ten t will be used to replace them. So we are going to try that out now, and we are going to see what we actually mean by those information. So now let's try the first one. We are going to create a new file called f is equals to, I think I have that file on my system, demo2, that is demo file 2, demo file 2.txt. I will first of all read that, append to that demo file a. I will although that file has a particular content in it, I will append a new file in a new content to it for us to see how it work. So when I say f dot write, you can see that the mode is A and not W. So f dot write. Now I want to write inside it, then I will say we are here for greater opportunity. Alright. So then remember you have to close your file, f close. Now we have this, and we need to open and read the file after we have written into it to see if what we have done is actually true. So we are going to carry out f equals to open demo file dot demo file 2 dot txt, comma r, that means we want to read, and we say print f dot read, and now we are good. So let's run this and see if we actually have the file. So you can see that it append to the end of the text. The text that was there before was, now we are adding more content. That was the text that was inside that file before. And we added, we are here for a greater opportunity, which is what we just add now. Then when we open it to read, it shows the two for us in the file. So now that is how to append data or content to an existing file or a new file. If that file does not exist, it's going to create it and append it. Exactly now. So also we can also use write. Now we have this content, we are still going to use this file so that you can know what we mean by override the content. So it's going to overwrite the content in it to the new one that we are specifying. So we are going to say, let me comment out this so that we won't have double content and at the end of this to get overwrite on it. So all right. So in this case now, we say f equals to open. We want to open the file that we want to write into it. So we have demo file 2.txt, comma the mode is what, W, we want to write into it. Then the next thing is f dot write. Now we actually want to write the content in it. So we say I have deleted the previous content and replace it with this, which means I have overwrite it. Alright, I think this one will give us a clear view of what we actually want to say, as we've all known the information inside the file. So this one will let us know that we have what we actually want to do. So f dot close, we close it. Then the next thing is to open the file and read through. So we are going to say f is equals to open the demo file to .txt, comma, mode we have read, and print f dot read. We have this. All right, and we can actually use for loop for it. So but f dot read will show everything at a go. So now that we have this, we can now run our file and see that our demo file too will be replaced with something else. Can you see that? It says I have deleted the previous content and replace it with this, which means I have overwrite it. Now let's try to open the demo file and see demo file 2. Can you see what we have there? I have deleted the previous content and replaced it with the new file, which means I have to overwrite it. So that is the content we have in there right now. Alright, so let's now look at how to create a new file. To create a new file in Python, we use open method, which with one of the following parameters, which is x, a, and w. We've used a, we've used w. A is to append, w is to write. A we append if the file exists, and if the file does not exist, it's going to create a new file and add the content in it. W we we overwrite the content in the file if it exists. But if it doesn't exist, if the file doesn't exist, it will create the file and put the content in it. So those are the work of the two, which is A and W. But for X, now we are going to use X. X is mainly to create a file, and once the file does not exist, it will, once the file exists, it will throw an error. But once the file does not exist, it will create the file and the content will be stored. So let me try to comment out this. Let me use dot string. All right. So in that case, let's quickly create f is equal to open. Then we have, let's give it a name, my new file, or let's say my file.txt. This file does not exist before. Then we put the mode, which is x. Now with this, we can create our file, but we want to make sure that the file have a content. So let's just say f dot write. Let's write into the file I was created now. All right. So then the next thing, let's close our file. And we need to open the file again. So f equals to open my file.txt. We want to look at what is inside. So that's why we have to open it if we actually do the right thing. And we say read. Okay. Then we print f dot read. So in this case, let's quickly run it and see what we have as our output. Can you see that it says I was created now? So if we go to our folder, we will see my file and you see my file, and when we open my file we are going to see I was created now. All right, so the same thing happen when the new file does not exist and you make use of W, is going to create a new file and write the content in it. So take note of that, as I'm not going to try that out. I've explained that several times, so that should be clear enough. So now we are going to the last part of file handling, which is how to delete a file. To delete a file, you must import the OS module and run it os.remove function. So for you to delete a file, you have to import the OS and use the os.remove function in order to remove the file. So we are going to remove some file in this let me use the doctrine to comment out this one too. All right, so we want to delete demo file, we want to delete demo file 2, we want to delete my file of. So these three files are meant to be deleted, and what we have to use is the OS. So in the first instance, I will come up here to import OS, or I should import it below, it doesn't matter, but to follow the normal convention, I will come up to import OS, import OS. All right, now that I have that there, I will come down below to type os.remove. What's the name of the file we want to remove? I want to remove demo file.txt. So once I press enter, then I will go and check the folder again to see if it still exists in my system. So let's run this and see. All right, it says os name remove. Oh, I didn't put the, yeah, I put the function. Oh, I put comma not. Oh, sorry. All right, dot os dot remove, and when I run this, we should have this. Normally, I should have put print file have been deleted so that we can have an output, but all the same, it has been deleted in this process. And if I check the folder demo file, I can only see demo file 2, nothing like demo file anymore. So now I will try to delete demo file again. So okay, let me also try to check with the code to see if it exists. So I'll say if os dot path. Okay, no, let me edit this. Let me comment out this, and I should write a new one. So if os dot path dot exist, we want to know if it still exists. Exists demo file.txt. What do we want to do? We want to do os.remove. I write the code this way too and say remove demo file.txt, and else if it doesn't exist, what do we want it to do? We want it to print, this file have been, this file does not exist. All right, so remember the file have been deleted. So When we run this, it's going to give us this file does not exist because the file actually does not exist any longer. So that is how to check if the file you deleted is still existing or is not existing. Then how to delete folder. Yeah, to also bring to your notice, you can create a folder with make directory. So if I say mkdir and I put txtx, let's see the outcome in our system. Let's see if it's going to create the file. Error in syntax. Okay. Um, if we were using command line, it will actually create a folder like this. Because this mk means make and this dir means directory. So we want to make a directory called txtx, but it's not working in here. So if it is in command line, it's going to work out. So you can try that in your command line. But how to delete a folder? You can also delete a folder by typing os.rmdir function. This also, you need to specify the argument, that is the name of the folder, maybe my folder, and it will delete whatever folder you try it on in your desktop. So let me quickly create an empty folder, or let me use this thing to create the folder so that we can get to understand cmd. Trying to get my command line. I don't know why my cmd isn't loading since. I don't know why my cmd isn't loading since, but let me quickly let me create it on the desktop by saying create a new folder. Alright, and I call it txtx. Now if I come here and I say os remove directory txtx, then if I press enter, remember we've import os. So if I press enter and I saved, once I run this, it's going to look for that file. System find file space, file not found error. Okay, because I didn't specify the path. os.path dot remove txt. Let's see the outcome. Attributes empty path has no attributes rmdir. Okay, if that is the case, let me specify the path. os dot remove directory. Let me specify the path as d slash let me try to open it. Let me open the file from desktop and get the path. Yes. Let me get this part like this. So I will say this. So let's try this way. It should work now. Unicode escape. Code cannot decode byte in position 2 to 3 truncated. Okay, I think there is an error. Okay, let me put the folder inside the part we're actually working and let's see what's going to happen. I don't know why it's throwing up these errors. Okay, let's see. So let's say os dot remove directory and we say txtx. Yeah, it worked fine now. It worked fine. That means it was the directory, so it wasn't there anymore. I moved it into it before and it wasn't there again. So if I open this file, there's no folder like this folder now. I can decide to delete this folder by specifying that name PyCache. So that is that. So if I specify dot PyCache, put the dot again, redundant again, then I save and I run. It's going to delete that. Oh, what's the name? Did I get the name right? Oh, I didn't get the name right. I think it's correct now. Alright. So if I run this, I will have this. I didn't get the name right. Can you fix the problem? Let's see again. Okay, directory is not empty. Okay. You want me to delete the directory first before deleting the document. Okay, so at least we've been able to display how to delete files and how to delete folder in your system using Python. So we'll see you next class and have a wonderful day.